Kingdom, we have our Protoss player. He starts for the Slayers team. Was ahead 1-0, but Jaedong on the second map just showed no mercy and took him down. This is the Protoss player called
Slayers Genius.
Once again, with the early expansion, the pylon already on the low ground, and his opponent starting to the bottom left in blue, starting for Caspar's 8th team. It is
Ace Team JD.
Genius, I want to point out, just slightly late with his pylon, and I mean, these little things seem insignificant, but I think that it kind of is a little bit showing that, you know, we talked about this before, and I wouldn't say this if Genius didn't previously state that he feels invincible, basically going into this, saying that he feels great, there's no way he can lose. And then suddenly he gets killed in the second game in such a fashion that is startling, and then makes his pylon late. And that's something that affects you as a player when you know your pylon is late, and you're like, my pylon's late, I gotta get it together here for a second, because if I lose this game, then I'm out of this entire tournament.
Yeah, we're still in the loser bracket, guys, so whoever loses today is out, and this is one fate that already Gumiho has to deal with. Yeah, something that a lot of people did not expect. Effort, of course, showing great performance, and one of the best StarCraft 2 players, or one of the best Caspar players that transitioned into StarCraft 2 that we have, but still Gumiho just looking so strong these days that this was a result that surprised quite a lot of people. Right now, with the block at the hatch for Jaedong, Genius is just being really annoying and a nuisance with his throw, but in the end the hatchery goes down as the Nexus is about to be started to the top right.
He's going for the later Forge again. Nexus on 18. He starts a pylon. I actually really like this build. A lot of people go for the Nexus first and then the Forge, or Forge at like 14 to 15. But the way that Genius is doing this is actually really economically friendly, and I like it. On these bigger maps, this is pretty smart.
This is actually the map where Lenok took down MC with those slow links. And I'm not saying that's going to happen again here, but it's just a little bit of a funny coincidence that in another Zerg versus Protoss we have this as the last map, and we've already seen the slow links in the second game on Ohana. But now the Wallen is starting with the gateway, of course, and Jaedong is probably going to head out and take another base very soon. We currently have the 4 minute, and at the bottom right, is that a drone? No, it's just mining, it's natural. Oh, there it is. There's the expansion.
Yeah, third hatch going down about 4 minutes, 15 seconds. And getting the extra queens as well. No gas, no tricky play this time. He's got the Lings at the front to spot for +1. He's also got the Overlord positioned at the high ground as well. Genius is right now going to be very vulnerable to vision for a brief period of time until that Overlord gets out. This time Jaedong keeping the Overlord in the main, going around the right side so that he actually can spot that tech later on.
The Cybernetics core is on the high ground again, so he needs to be careful with this wall.
Yeah, it's a bit of a vulnerable spot again, the same exact location as last time. And he's actually going to make a pylon this time.
Exactly, here comes the pylon. This is basically what he lacked in game number 1, and now he can block with a probe, he can block with a zealot. He's not skipping the zealot this time. There it is. So Genius for now is safe. Jaedong will not start with this rolling attack.
Yeah.
Genius, and this is just so weird. Why didn't we see the pylon in the last game?
Yeah, that is weird. Genius with a huge amount of gas, and there's the Stargate. Stargate, game number 3, Genius style. I would not be surprised if we saw a little bit more Phoenix action in this game, but Genius can do anything he wants. He's that type of player.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he loves this style, as you already pointed out. I mean, he's known for this, especially against Zerg. And Jaedong, what is he going to do right now? We currently have him with the Overlords in the positions that you mentioned. He has one to the top left and one at the bottom. But the Stargate is in this position where he's actually well hidden right now. The Overlord has to pass the cannon if he wants to get in here. So right now, Jaedong doesn't know exactly what's going on, and Genius is about to start his first unit in the Stargate. Jaedong on the 3 bases, just droning up, and he's getting the additional queen. Here comes the Phoenix, no Void Ray this time. Yeah. And the question is, of course, is he going to hide them? It certainly looks like it.
Yeah, the rally point indicates so. This is awesome. This is a great builder of choice by Genius, I think, against Jaedong in this best of 3. After already showing the Void Ray +1 attack, then even doing a Phoenix follow-up after Void Ray would be much more expected from Genius. But this is one that Jaedong may struggle with because this is very uncommon. only players like Genius actually pull this off. You know, we've seen players like Seed occasionally do this. You know, MC might do it every once in a while. But this is the rarest form of Stargate play, and this is one that I think actually arguably is the scariest.
For Zerg play, and it definitely is. I mean, the Protoss moves out when he has the 4 Phoenixes ready so that he can kill a Queen with 1 liftoff. Now he has to be careful that he takes down the Overlord before he scouts anything. But if he's able to just hide this, and it certainly looks like he will... Oh, this is actually coming in really close. Nope, there it is. He knows about it, and now he has to move out.
Yeah, and he knows... And so he knows that it's Stargate play, and he saw the Phoenix rally, but he doesn't know if there's Void Rays or not, but now he knows.
Yeah. Here they come, the Phoenixes. He knows what's going on, and of course, now the Evolution Chamber is about to finish. He started another Queen immediately, double Spore Crawler, and Genius will try to kill a few drones. He can't kill Queens at this point, he just lacks... he lacks the Phoenix count.
Yeah, he needs the 4th one to be able to do that. You can only kill Queens with 1 lift with 4 Phoenixes. Kicking off gas drones here, the most annoying drone to have to lose.
And the 4th Phoenix is now ready, but now the Spore Crawlers are also done. And of course the standard transition for Genius. What you usually try to do is you transition into a Colossi play, because you force the Hydralisks out of your opponent. The Zerg player has to have some answer to this. So you either have to go for Hydralisk, the Infestation Pit is also a good choice. It depends on how heavily you want to commit to your anti-air. But the standard transition for the Protoss will always be the Colossus.
Which is what we see right now, Robotic Support Bay coming out here, and Jaedong, though, is not committing to those Hydralisks, nor the Infestors, going Spider Tech instead, getting Corruptors, which is actually basically the counter to what Genius is doing.
Can he actually kill him here? There was a little bit of a bad lift. No, he can't, exactly, because he delayed it a little bit too much. He has to use a second lift, and this is exactly the timing that you have to have down cold. You need those Phoenixes already in range when you use lift, or the Queen will be able to escape.
He saw the Spire with his Phoenixes, which is really important.
And Genius is just Jaedong is just playing this with Corruptors now. So he wants to have the Corruptors which counter not only the Phoenixes, but at the same time they also counter the Colossi. This is a really smart move.
Yeah, you could even call it genius. But Jaedong still is not out of the water yet, because Genius, even though he did do a ton of damage with this build, is transitioning flawlessly. Blink is on the way. 3rd Nexus is going to be hard to force a cancel on with all the units that Genius has positioned right now on this map especially. And losing a lot of hit points there, but he's got the units well positioned, but he loses 1 sentry and loses the 2nd one as well. This was a big mistake by Genius because he was focusing on his Phoenixes during that time.
2 of the sentry is dead, but Genius is now in a supply lead, which is always awesome if you're Protoss up against the Zerg, but it doesn't hold for long. And now Jaedong not going for any kind of Corruptor play. No, he commits heavily to Mutalisks, which is fine as long as you have a huge Mutalisk count and you can go for this Death Ball and try to one-shot a Phoenix, but it's also taking a bit of a risk here, especially against Blink Stalkers and the potential of additional Phoenixes being added.
It's almost as if he saw the Stalker count with his Lings and was like, well, you don't have that many, you've got a lot of sentries, I took out some of them. You're not going to expect this, I'm going to go for this. He's making a ton of Mutas, and totally he's going to have 15 when these last 4 pop out. And he's just going to go for broke here, going right into the natural coming from behind. The Phoenixes will spot these, though, it appears, and oh no, he just barely doesn't see them. If he could see them, then he could start to damage them a little bit.
That's really scary right now.
Yeah, this is really scary. He's got a cannon in the natural, only 3 Stalkers to support. That's not going to be enough. He's going to lose some probes.
And there he moves in.
One cannon not in range, but the 2nd one will start to do the damage.
And he moves in with the rest. Blink is ready. Blink is ready. He blinks in. Another dies, but yep, he loses only... Well, he actually doesn't lose too many of his Mutalisks. But there's still a couple of Zealots over at the 3rd base where he tries to run in with his Zergling, sorry.
Yeah,
and it
too many cannons there, yeah. And Genius, great micro on his Phoenixes, keeps all 3 of them alive, takes down some of the extra hit points on those Mutas. Jaedong is struggling to find an opening here, +2 is about to finish for Genius. He's even got some Stalkers and a cannon in his main base.
With the 3rd base, he could actually just go for the Onion Pulse Crystals. He could go for the range upgrade for the Phoenixes.
Yeah, and with how many more Mutas Jaedong is making, this is reasonable. Going up to 24. And extra cannons are being made. Genius is not cutting any corners here. He's playing this super safe. I really like it too. I'm very happy with his response here.
On the other hand, Jaedong has now a really firm grasp on the map. He has the control, and therefore the 4th and 5th base that he built is safe here. And Jaedong is going to face Templars and Archons.
Yeah. Here we go. He's going to want to force field those Zerglings, and he does. Jaedong cannot engage here.
No, he can't. And the thing is just, it's the Colossi is here so important.
Yeah, Genius is you know, he's down in supply, but he's looking better and better here with +3 now starting. Like you mentioned, the Templar Archives coming up. Taking a 4th base may be a problem.
Where's the blink?
Oh no force fields.
There is the blink, and oh, these Mutalisks are in so much trouble. He can't fight here.
Yeah, even with the Ling support, there's not enough with the Colossus there. Jaedong is losing too much. He's going to take some more hits on his units on his way out with the cannons there as well.
Oh, the resources lost 7,000 for Jaedong and only 3,500 for Genius. This engagement was not a smart one for the Casper's 8 player.
Yeah, Casper's 8 player Jaedong here is thinking about going for a Ling attack, but there are 4 cannons in place. A 5th one going down for Genius. He knows that he is going to be able to take this base out, but he's going to have to come home really, really fast. With all the cannons he has up, it's going to be a little bit better to defend, but he doesn't block the Lings out.
Exactly, he doesn't. And now is he going just for a base race? He certainly could, because at this point it's going to take so much time for him to actually move back. But the Mutalisk count is getting higher. Once again, he has 24, will have in a few seconds. The +2 attack upgrade is going to be started. And this is exactly the composition that you want to have. It's going to be a base race.
Genius needs more cannons. He needs to make more cannons at his 3rd base. That's where he's got the most concentrated of cannons, 5 of them together. If he makes like 5 more cannons there with Archons to defend, the Mutalisks will never be able to kill that, nor will the Lings.
A huge advantage now in army supply for Jaedong. The composition, that's the problem. And
the
here
Archons.
Comes the Archons, the cannons. Will the Mutalisk die? It certainly looks like a lot of them are going down, but not all of them.
Yeah, the Lings are actually tanking for the cannons, and it looks like he will break through here. But Genius, on the other hand, is killing units at the natural as well. This game is looking pretty close.
Genius has a huge bank, by the way. He's at 1,400 minerals here. He still has the gas. He can build additional next side. He can warp in Stalkers. He has 21 Stalkers against 18 Mutalisks.
He's just making more and more Archons. He's using all of his bank in gas to make those Templar, to make them into Archons. Now he's killed the natural. He's like, all right, that's enough. I can come home if I hold on here a little bit longer.
He doesn't know about the base to the left, or does he?
Well,
does he see it?
He sees it and he goes for it.
He needs to kill it. He needs to take it down.
He will kill it too. His forge is being rebuilt. Right now he can't make cannons. He's going to lose his main nexus. And once these pylons go down, he's not going to be able to make any more units, but he's still got the 2 Archons at his natural.
And as soon as he's done here, he will just fall back.
Yep.
He's killing the drones now. And wow, Genius against Jaedong, the army supply in favor of our Slayers player. 69 against 56.
But all the Archons are dying.
And the Archons are gone. The Archons are fallen. 21 Stalkers against 18 Mutalisks right now. And Jaedong is still producing Mutalisks. He still has a little bit of mining going on.
Genius is not blinking. He needs to do so. It looks like he wants to do a sneak blink here. Oh, the Nexus is being targeted. He can't get it though.
Yeah, he kills the Zerglings instead of the Mutalisks. This is gonna get really, really scary. Harvester count is 9 to 20.
+3 did not finish because that Forge died, and the Mutalisks do have +2, so it's +2 versus +2. No armor upgrades for Genius. And this is going to become a war of attrition here. The worker count is obviously heavily in favor of Jaedong, and Genius's base is pretty mined out. The problem is Jaedong's base is even more mined out. I mean, he's mining from his main base, not his natural.
This is actually so scary now for Genius. He lost so much, and the Mutalisk count is getting completely out of control. He actually can take down every single pile in the main base, and then Genius will not have the economy to get any additional units. He won't even be able to get any additional harvesters.
Yeah, the Archon is going to be useful here in this composition, but this is such a frustrating position for him.
They really give us a show here in the 3rd game.
Yeah. Now, Jaedong with a ton of larvae, he's got 30 available to him. So as soon as he gets this extra hatchery up and starts mining from his natural, he will be able to produce units a lot faster than Genius, who, surprisingly enough, still has all of his production in his main because Jaedong has not tried to poke at that.
Jaedong is afraid of a blink, apparently. He really does not want to fight these Stalkers head-on. The problem is the count is getting better and better for Jaedong. 26 to 20. That's the count between the Mutalisks and the Stalkers, of course. And now he's moving into the main base.
He needs to do it, and he can. There's nothing to be afraid of. Stalkers are so far away. Looks like he wants to get the Templar Archives, but he's not going to be able to get that far into the main. And he takes out 1 Muta.
1 Muta for a pylon. Moves in again.
This is what we're talking about. He needs to be careful, but yeah, he can do this. He can even pick off a small group of Stalkers if they miss blink. He's just going to be very aggressive. Here, like this. He would be able to get one of these Stalkers. Boom.
But he loses the Mutalisks.
Yeah, that was a bit of an overstep.
But he's double expanding. He is really double expanding at this point. And the income, if we just have a look at the income, it's currently better for Jaedong, for Genius, but this is going to change very soon.
Yes. Taking out these rocks so that later on he's got a bigger attack pattern to use. The Observer checks for every base right now on the bottom right, and he's seen the double expand.
The problem for Jaedong is as soon as Genius has more Archons in the picture, he can just move out.
Oh, like this!
Uh-oh, this is not what you want. This is definitely not what Jaedong wants here. He's down to 20 Mutalisks now against 17 Stalkers, and we already have 3 Archons in the mix for Genius.
Genius needs the Nexus, though, and that's the biggest concern, because he won't be able to attack against the Spines just yet. The Infestation is going up for Jaedong right now, and if Genius tries to make a Nexus, Jaedong's just going to kill it, and then if he tries to defend the Nexus, then he's going to go into the main base. That's what the Mutalisks allow him to do. That's the mobility of this Mutaforce. He killed the Cybernetics Core, which means no more Stalkers for a while.
It's not only no more Stalkers, at this point he is rebuilding the Forge. He needs a couple of cannons if he really wants to move out. That's what you just mentioned. He cannot really commit to any kind of attack because for once there are the Stalkers, and then the Mutalisks are just so mobile that they can always just try to get into the natural of Genius, which is basically his only mining base now, and take it down.
Yes, Pathogen Glands on the way for Jaedong now. That's like the last piece of the puzzle for him. Once he gets the Infestors out, this game will end. Genius is on the clock.
Storm now for Jaedong, and this could change everything, of course. A good Storm into Mutalisks, and we all know how that ends.
Yes. Spoiler alert, it's not good for the Mutas.
Wolf. Seriously.
Sorry, I like to say spoiler alert before I spoil things about a second and a half later.
Jaedong is now ahead with 20 supply in total. And the army supply, look at the Infestor count, he's getting 5 already. He certainly has the income to do so. 55, 57 supply for Jaedong against 50. Oh, nice blink.
Yeah, this is really crucial. He's going to get 3 Mutas, it looks like, if he blinks forward again.
Where is it? Cooldown.
There it is. Gets the 3rd one.
And now the Mutalisk count is at 17 to 17 Stalkers.
And he may actually be able to blink forward again. Oh, that was so close. Taking some hits, but not losing any Mutas. And now he's forcing Mutas away. He's got to use them on the defensive while he's got a 3rd Nexus up. This is ideal for Genius.
This game is actually going to be really crazy. I mean, we've seen already a very exciting series in this best of 3, but now the 3rd map is just topping everything. This game is so intense. Both of them really trying to fight in order to advance to the next round. They know that this is the last chance that they have. Genius has played so much more cost efficient in this game. 17,000 resources lost for him against 20,000 for Jaedong. And now he's trying to move out a little bit, but Jaedong is even getting a 4th base now. He's getting roaches, Infestors.
Yeah, all the spines he has really makes Genius cannot attack. So Genius has a small victory in that he's been able to get his Nexus up and he's got his Storm research completed. So that's really important for him. But the composition is changing, and this is what he's going to have to account for.
And the Harvester count is just so much better for Jaedong at this point. He's doubling his opponent's worker count, and therefore the income, of course, also much, much better. These cannons will make sure that the Mutalisks are not committing here, but Genius is in trouble.
Yes, he is. Hive now on the way. 7 more Infestors, which will put him up to a total of 13. And that's going to be the unlucky number for Genius right now, as he really desperately not only needs another base, but he needs a tech switch. He needs a robotic support bay. He needs Colossus production. He still has the robotic support bay, but does not have... Okay, he still has the Robo, but he needs to know that this is what he needs to make, because he's still making Archons right now.
The income is nearly double for Jaedong. He has twice the income of Genius, and this shows the army supply, the overall supply. It's just so much better at this point for the Zerg player of Caspath 8. It is just incredible right now. Just look at how this actually progresses. The time is working against Genius, but there's nothing that he can do at this point. He can't attack into the Spine Crawlers.
He can't, and he's trying to figure out an angle of attack right now. He's now half half the worker supply, 30 to 60 of his opponent. With all these fungals available, he's not going to be able to attack straight into these, and he sees them now. Nice save on that Stalker.
At this point, the Mutalisks are basically there to buy time.
Yeah. He can try to, if he wants to, pick off the workers from behind, and this is exactly what he's going to do, Zanaga Cavern style. And he pulls those workers away, but there's not enough cancer. He's going to need the Storm, and he does. That Storm is really good, actually, on the Mutas. But the Mutas fly away, and there's too many.
Exactly. There are only so many Storms that he has, and he's moving in again. He takes down cannon after cannon, and Genius is forced to move back. He's 60 supply behind, and he is going to lose this 3rd base for sure. It dies, and so, in my opinion, die Genius' hopes of advancing in the WCS Korea.
starting to look like he's not going to be able to do it, man. Jaedong, a player who's represented Korea in many tournaments worldwide, really wants this, really wants to do this for Starcraft 2. And Genius is probably not going to be able to advance here because even though he's got a lot of storms available, he just doesn't have money anymore. And Jaedong can even trade costs inefficiently at this point with all of the resources he has. He's just got too much mining. How can Genius even approach this?
We talked in the past how the Casper players need a little bit more time in order to be on tip-top shape in StarCraft 2, and that their training regime will probably give them an edge given time, and this is exactly what we are witnessing. Jaedong against Genius. He is up against a former runner-up in the GSL Codas, and Jaedong is looking very, very strong. Apparently able to take victory in this third game, killing everything here, making sure that even long distance mining is not an option for the Slayers player anymore. And he's just making him dance, he's making him run from the left to the right, he's just controlling his every move.
Yeah, Jaedong's Greater Spire is done. And this means that the Broodlords will begin to flow. 5 Corruptors popping out as I speak. Takes out that harassment force so he can resume mining at his 4th. Genius cannot attack, cannot expand, cannot defend, cannot move, cannot breathe, and cannot advance in the WCS without a miracle.
Look at the gas for Jaedong. 2,000. He has so much gas right now. His income is incredible. He has still the Mutalisks that roam the map. He is everywhere. Jaedong is looking so strong here. And I think a lot of StarCraft 2 players have to rethink how they approach this, and especially playing a Casper player, because these guys are strong.
Yeah, having the attitude of I cannot lose is not obviously something that worked out for Genius in this best of 3.
A bit too confident today maybe,
yeah.
And now we have him, he's on the ropes, he's down for the count, he is half the supply of his opponent. The army supply at this point in time is 107 against 73, and time is working in Jaedong's favor.
Yeah, he's trying to pick off these drones, and he hits a lot of them with the Archon blasts here, but this is not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is going to be the Broodlords now.
Yeah, he doesn't have too many just yet, but that's going to change in the next few minutes.
And he even has enough with the Spinecrawler support to hold this base forever. The Templar, I mean, yeah, Storms would be good against Broodlords and Mutas, but I mean, the Broodlords have so many hit points, Storm is not the best. I'm actually surprised we don't see Storms on those drones, for example.
And here we have the Mutalisks now taking control of the main base of Genius.
The Storm on the drones.
The Storm on the drones, a little bit too late. The Broodlords are still in a position where they can attack. And a blink is definitely out of the option for Genius. He can't blink into the Spinecrawlers. That would just be suicidal. As long as Jaedong pays attention to his Broodlord positioning, he's fine. And in the main base, every single pylon dies.
Yeah, Genius now has to fight 2 armies, and it's basically 2 armies that either one could kill his. So he's really he's in dire straits here. He's got no other options. How is he going to approach?
He has nothing to do at this point. He's attacking into the choke point, the worst position ever. The fungal.
He has no choice.
No, the fungal hits, and this is Genius dying.
Yeah, we're going to watch him die right now, man.
Jaedong is going to win this. Storms are nice, and they are really a good weapon to have, but they are not useful in this situation anymore.
Yeah. Jaedong will advance here. Genius out of resources, out of units.
Out of the WCS Korea. 21 supply against 140. Jaedong takes the game. Genius has lost the series. 6 supply left. That's all he's got. GG indeed.
What a